Good afternoon and welcome back to West Ham Network. I'm Anton and I'm here bringing you the David Moyes press conference for the Chelsea game that has just taken place. It has just finito. So I'm going to bring to you all the news from his press conference today. And it's now going to be Chelsea that come up next at home at the London Stadium against West Ham, where West Ham obviously will want to bounce back. Yes, we got a draw against Brighton. Yes, we were defeated against Man City and we were defeated against Wolves, but we want to bounce back. We want to try and get 3 points on the table because we want to push and progress and keep our march to the top 4 on. And this game is becoming extremely important. All games coming thick and fast are becoming important. And this is what's going to play into the hands of the future of what this team's going to do, because you don't want to go on this little kind of, you could call it like we've hit a bit of a kind of not so great spell just now as West Ham fans and as a West Ham team. But at the end of the day, we still are 4th. We are still through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. We are in the last 16 of the Europa League with the FA Cup just around the corner. But what it is teaching me is that consistency and momentum is key. So therefore, when you think things are going to happen and changes should be made, because we think as West Ham fans sitting behind the camera, sitting in front of the telly, whatever, watching it in the stands, that we know what we're talking about, it just shows you that we don't have a clue sometimes. And Mr. David Moyes, the faith and the trust has to go into the boss man himself, Mr. David Moyes. So as we always do, before we get started, if you are new around here, we're on the march towards 10,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button just now if you are watching. It really does help us out. It is really cool, and I hope you are enjoying our content. You've had a daily already from Stel, already taking place. He's been talking about several players we're linked to, including Nathan Ake from Man City, who's rumoured again to be a point of interest for West Ham moving forward. And I'll just put my hand up and say, I'll take him. I'll happily take in Nathan Ake. Go and check out that show he did earlier on. And then later on today, we will be doing our preview. So we'll be going more in depth about the Chelsea game in itself with Matt, and we'll have an opposition fan and a new opposition fan we haven't had on before. Yes, so please join us at 9 o'clock. So let me get straight into the press conference from David Moyes, and he goes on to talk about the team news straight away. He says Cresswell is back in light training, so we'll have a look at that. After that, most people are okay, other than the bad news about Ogbonna. In the main, we've got everybody fit, though. Now, the key part here is light training. Cresswell, for me, doesn't make this game. I think you can't risk him. I think everyone will be saying that they will want him back. But what I will say is I can't really fault what Soufal and Ben Johnson did. So it still gives us an option for the game tomorrow. So I'm okay if they start the game tomorrow, and I think they will on the basis of what David Moyes has said on the team news. Now, there's no ifs or buts about it. It is a big loss that he's not playing, but the fact he's in training means it's not hopefully as bad as we first anticipated. So touch wood, Cressy will be back in time for the next league game. I don't think he'll be playing against Zagreb when we do take them on, but yeah, let's fingers crossed hope that is what's going to happen. He then goes on and talks about VAR, and of course it's the controversial subject, especially when you watched the game against Brighton at the weekend there. He said, I disagreed with Dermot Gallagher. I don't know how he saw it hit someone's leg. I am looking forward to seeing a picture. And you know what? He's completely right. It is absolutely ridiculous that it took, about approximately 5 minutes to check that. 5 minutes to check that whole VAR system out. And they kept doing close-ups. They quickly ruled out the Dawson potential foul on Dawson. They quickly ruled out the potential handball on Dawson. And then they spent minutes and minutes and minutes looking at this VAR decision. And I don't know how we can tell it touches the foot. Maybe because they think that Antonio celebrated like he scored the goal. That's what I'm starting to think, that maybe they think Antonio celebrated because he acted like he got a touch on the ball. Either way, I don't know how we can tell that that's happened, because the ball didn't take any difference of trajectory. It was going in the trajectory it was aimed at, which just came off of Dawson and went into the back of the net. So it's a ridiculous decision to me, to be honest. And I'm not just saying that on the back of being a West Ham fan, but I'm talking about being a football fan. To have 4 or 5 minutes of that just solely down to waiting to see what they're going to send it up to the guys up in Heathrow or wherever they're based to check it through and get it wrong. That's the key message here. In my opinion, they got it wrong. And as David Moyes says, he wants to see the picture that they decided that was the decision they were going to rule out the goal for. He then goes on and talks about Antonio himself because, of course, it's the topical conversation with West Ham fans over the last couple of years. Why are we not signing a striker? Why are we not signing a striker? Every single West Ham fan wants to sign a striker. I get that. But I think this man is getting labelled too harshly, if I'm being brutally honest. I'm actually getting a little bit fed up with people actually digging him out to the level that he is, because throughout his whole West Ham career, he has lived his West Ham career like a roller coaster. He is up, he is down, he is up, he is down, but he is treated sometimes like utter rubbish from West Ham fans, and it actually does drive me insane. But let's see what he says here. Centre forwards can go through a barren spells. Mick has been a little unlucky. The keeper made a save from him, and it was a really. Let me come up. Well, I'll come back onto that in a minute. He is really important for us. He's our focal point and has been important, and I'm hoping we can get him back in form. Strikers just need to keep getting in there and get chances. Let's hope Mick continues to get chances. Now, the key thing here is the keeper made a save from him. When he's saying that, and people might moan about that, but it was a really good save. It was a diving header, and the keeper was at full stretch and made a good save. And the keeper made 3 or 4 consecutive good saves in that second half against Brighton. And it was really unfortunate that one of them was Mickey Antonio's. So now the thing is, Mickey Antonio got himself into a couple of dangerous positions. And I'm not sitting here denying and saying that he's not been playing on form. And people are saying they're calling for him to rest. There's no way, especially from this comment here, that Antonio is going to be rested for the Chelsea game, because he's the sort of player that's going to cause them concerns. I think people are, I don't want to dig people out. People are allowed their own opinion, but I don't think people are thinking in the Moyes mindset. I still think they're thinking in their mindset. And this is what I'm struggling to do sometimes. And I admit that as a West Ham fan, but he likes what Antonio does. He's a focal point for the team, and he does a lot of leg work out on the wings. Yes, you want your forwards to be straight up top, but we've tried it once before when we had Sebastian Haller, when we had Chicharito, and it doesn't work in this team. So it means, and it shows me, again, when you look at comparisons from strikers that we're linked to, that who we will potentially bring in and who we won't potentially bring in, unless they do the work rate, the full-blown work rate, unless they do the channels. People are slagging off Josh King when we were linked to him, but he is exactly the sort of striker that Moyes would be looking at, because he does the channels, he does the hard work on each of the wings, and he gets up top. Now, I'm not saying we should have gone for Josh King. Back then I did, not now, but back then I did. But he's got, I mean, looking at the player, he's got like, what, 6 goals already, or 5 goals at Watford, albeit he scored 4 in one game, all that sort of stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is Antonio has been a pivotal part of West Ham's kind of growth over the last 5 or 6 years. He's our top goal scorer in the Premier League. That doesn't mean he automatically deserves a space. I don't doubt for a second we need another striker to back him up. But when I hear people saying that he needs to rest Antonio and you put Bowen up top, I think that's okay to a certain extent. But you're talking about a player here who's now ever so slightly picking up a little bit of momentum again. He's gone away with Jamaica. He's not due to go away with Jamaica now for a little while. So he is going to get a run of games. And I think if you see now the next couple of games that he doesn't produce anything or any of the goods, you may start to see him rested. But let's not beat about the bush here. Antonio can cause the Chelsea defence problems. And that's why when you listen to what Moyes says, I completely agree with him. I think he will. Get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts, though. Moyes goes on and talks about Chelsea. He says, all the games excite you. Last week, we played the Champions League finalists. This week, we play the winners. And I always say you want to test yourself against the best. We want to challenge them, and we'll try our best to do that on Saturday. We have a closer derbies, but overall, it's another big game. He then goes on and says a bit more. Everyone is finding it difficult against Chelsea. We saw their quality in Europe as well. They have a very strong squad and hard to see any weaknesses. The manager has done a good job, won trophies and been successful, and that is a requirement at Chelsea. I'm looking forward to it. It's a game we have played well in recent seasons. Let's talk, for example, the Yarmolenko, who scored a late winner when the 3 points was vital, and we did. And last year we played well, and we were unlucky not to get something out of the game. Chelsea are a top team, and it will be a tough game, and there's no ifs or buts about it. But what this season, what this Premier League does teach me is that, you know, West Ham are a team that are in transition and are trying to progress. And we can sit here and say we can compete with the top 4, but if we don't beat the other teams in and around us, then we're never going to make that transition and move into that top 4. Or we do make that transition at the top 4 by challenging the top 4 and beating the teams around us. But we have to remember we are in the top 4. We have started the season fantastically well. We are in the position because we have done so well with the players who lead the line like Antonio, with players, the squad that we've used, because we have utilised that squad 100,000,000%. So fair play, fair play. He goes on and talks about the top four. He said, I said right at the start of the season that we finished 2 points behind Chelsea in the league. And the challenge we laid down was, can we get those extra 2 points? Can we challenge the teams in the top four? To make it a fist of it is a good start. We've made a really good start, and the job now is to hang in and see if we can make a challenge at the end of the season. And that is the key. And that's why it's so important that we can see out games like we didn't, unfortunately, against Brighton. It wasn't the greatest day of office, but it was a bit of a better performance. Not great, but for me personally, it was a little bit of a better performance. But the most disappointing thing was how we handled the goal. We can't take it away from Memphis Depay from Brighton, because it is an absolutely wonderful goal. But I was talking to my brother-in-law this morning, and I was like literally playing out the goal itself, and he hadn't saw it. And I was trying to explain it, and I said, when you think about Dawson, I know you can talk about players losing it on the wing, but when the ball comes into the box, and I'm not one of Dawson's biggest fans, when Dawson is standing kind of holding on to Neil Maupay, you're thinking to yourself, he's a no-nonsense defender, like, get your head stuck in. But he decided to hold him up, and it's such a dangerous thing to do. Maybe he was concerned he was going to give away a penalty, but he does have that form of quality to be able to do what he done. He's not been doing it this season, but he does have quality in him. And I think you need to get those points over the line in order to progress and challenge that top four. I am doing the press conference here. It's not a review of the game, but what I will say on the game as well is, I really like Trossard. Keep an eye on it. I really like him. What a quality player at Brighton as well. Moyes goes on and talks about the fixtures. He said, it's been good to have European football as it gives me a chance to get the players prepared for Thursday, Sunday, but this week is tough. 3 in 6 days and 2 against the Champions League finalists. We're going to try and take it on, but we are doing all we can to get the players right. Their mentality is really good, and it is, and you can see that within the team. You can see how when they win together, they win together. When they lose together, they lose together. And when they draw, they kind of treat it a little bit like a loss. But that's not a bad thing. Yes, it's okay, we get a point over the line, but it's not a bad thing that the players are so deflated from a draw, because they've got a winning mentality, and that's what we want at West Ham, is that consistency and winning mentality. It's what Moyes is trying to build at the team. He's been doing it from the start, and that's what he's wanting to try and achieve moving forward. He goes on and talks about the preparations that he's made. He says, we don't have any time, but that is the same for all the managers with 3 games this week. And we've seen injuries this week, which is disappointing. We try to manage the players and have done in Europe. We have played really well for long parts of the season, but you always have dips and injuries. We lost Ogbonna, and we've not been totally sorted, and Creswell too. We will get back to it. I am sure we will, and need to try and use the ball better. I'm hoping that is against Chelsea. Fair play to David Moyes. He's putting his hand up and he's saying, listen, this is the situation, and there's games coming thick and fast, but all the other managers have got to do it, and we need to prepare, but there is no time to prepare, so we need to make do with what we've got. Now, I do believe we've got enough in our tanks. I don't doubt it for a second, and the bigger they come, the harder they fall, so bring on Chelsea. And I think Moyes' mentality is a bit like that. He knows the quality that they can provide. He knows the quality that's deep in their team. Check out the preview later on, 9 o'clock tonight, where we'll talk in depth about Chelsea's quality and what they're capable of doing. But on our day, we can take on anyone, and I really do believe that, because we've got full-blown unity within that squad. So here ho, let's see what happens. And last but not least, David Moyes goes on and talks about the fans. He says they have been great for us and have been great this season. The stadium has been rocking as it should be, because the players have been great. The other night we had chances and goal-mouth action, and we hope we can convert a few more. And there's no ifs or buts about it. We do need to convert a few more. And I'm not digging out the players like Benrahma, Lanzini, Bowen, Fornals, but they are finding themselves in good situations, but not getting that ball over the line. And I feel like all we're going to do is just get that. It will click, and once it clicks, the floodgates will open. That's what I'm hoping for. I think we thought that would happen with Benrahma earlier in the season, and his form's kind of going haywire a little bit. But what we do have is quality in that team. And I think back to the Europa League game when Benrahma was through against Genk. Was it Genk or Vienna? And he could have squared the ball through to Vlasic, and all Vlasic would have done would have tapped it, but Benrahma went for goal. And it's things and opportunities like that and decisions like that that could actually change the season for a better, or change a player's form for the better. Vlasic getting a goal in Europe could have kick-started what he's going to do. Yarmolenko got the goal in Europe. You never know. You never know. That could be he's got a taste for the goals playing for West Ham again, and that's what it can take. So whether it be Lanzini, whether it be Fornals, whether it be Bowen, who's getting himself into really dangerous positions, they need to convert these chances 100%. And I'm really hoping that we can. I'm confident that we can convert those chances. And do you know what? Maybe I'm asking for too much when it's coming up against Chelsea. But at the end of the day, I've always said it, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it every time I do these shows. The bigger they come, the harder they fall. And you'd kind of want them. That's why when you're looking at Europe, for me personally, I'm like, I'm not worried about the Champions League dropping, because bring them on, bring them on. Like, that's what you go into these competitions for, is to take on the biggest and the best teams you possibly can get. So there you go. I'm going to jump into the chat and see who is in the house and see what everyone is saying. Crosshammer, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Marcus Lieb, thank you very much again. Richard Stevens, afternoon, everyone. Good to see you, Anton. Thank you, Richard. Freno, good to see you as well. Football and Oi Music, we need a bloody striker. We do, and I think we will be getting one hopefully sometime soon. Daniela Stewart, this season is already better than I expected, so anything else is a bonus. Let's stay with the team. I think it's time for the fans to play their part and be the 12th man that every successful team have. And I do, Daniela, I agree with you, but I do think our fans are there. I really do think our fans are there. It's just about we need to stay consistent with our approach. I'm not going to fall for the whole kind of social media approach as a West Ham fan, because it's like a full sense of panic when we lose a game, and it's not a nice, and it can be a kind of a toxic place to go to. But at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what they're going to do. Then fair play. Daniela Stewart, football and Oi Music, yes, but we're going to get one till January window open, so please chill out we got one or not. Freno, Lukaku could be starting from bench as per Thomas. Well, we'll see. I'll talk about it in the preview later on. Freno says we have Perkins, Okaflex, Boosters, Bright, Antonio's rock solid up front. Absolutely. Nippon Sharma, hi, thank you for joining us. Crosshammer, if outpassing was as good as last season, we would be smashing it. Well, we'll see. You never know. Nippon Sharma, big up yourself. Thank you very much. There are big differences playing under 23s to Premier League. Bring them too early and we could break them for good. But I don't know, Daniela. I think there's a time and a place when you can bed in these younger players. And I think we've got a really strong crop of academy players. And I actually think the time and the place could be now to maybe drip feed one or two of them in, because I actually do think there is quality there. But I don't doubt for a second we will see some of those players come in on the Europa League game. Tomo Carmoloco, West Ham will beat Chelsea. Let's hope we do. We can see they all want to play that Champions League, which I believe we will next year. Let's please say we do. Hi, guys. I've helped my son Bradley move into his flat this week. Good on you, Ian. Congratulations and all the best. Yes, Tomo, the London Derby X Factor comes in. Nice crib, Anton. Thank you very much, mate. Snowing again in Darlington. Good man. Bowen to score tomorrow, having a feeling it's his time to score. He's definitely due a goal, and it would be good. Richard Stevens, we definitely need to sort out our possession rate out. We've been punished by much lower teams than Chelsea due to particularly seeing as though our set piece performances have dipped recently. Richard, there's no ifs and buts about it, but again, when you look at Brighton, they've done it against Liverpool. They do that. They take chances. They concede goals, but they don't score a lot of goals, but they hold a lot of possession. That's their style of play, and I'm not sure if that I don't know if that's going to be like 70% of possession for West Ham. That's not really our style of play. It'd be good if we did. It'd be nice to see. But you want to, do you want to swap places with Brighton right now? As it stands right now, no, because we're further up the league. We're further in we're in the European competition and going quite far, and we're in the quarterfinals of that as well. You're thinking Lukaku will start for you. And I have a good point. I don't really know what my good point is about, but that does bring an end to the short, sharp, sweet show of the David Moyes press conference for the Chelsea game. Come back tonight and join me as we talk the preview with a Chelsea fan coming on as well. Before I do go, though, I want you to have a look at the most latest prize from Football Prizes. Let me bring it up for you. What a great prize. Quite possibly one of my favourites right now that I've actually been on. So how do I get this onto the full screen? Let me see here. There you go. There you go. The squad signed in custom frame West Ham shirt, signed by the full West Ham squad. This custom frame shirt is a real collector's item for any West Ham fan and is guaranteed to be won for only £5.95. Signatures include Antonio, Rice, Noble, Creswell, Lanzini, Fabianski, and 18 players in total from the squad of that year. There are 99 tickets to be sold. Tickets cost £5.95, and so far, as it stands, only 41 have been sold. So if you are interested, jump across. I'll put the link in the chat, and you can just click on that, and that'll take you all the way through to the Football Prizes website, where you can go and sign up for a ticket. £5.95, and there's only 41 tickets sold so far. What a great opportunity. But there you go. There's David Moyes' press conference. Like I said, if you're new around here, go and hit the subscribe button. Please hit the thumbs up. Please leave a comment after the video. Go and check out Stell's West Ham Daily earlier on. Go and check out Russ's transfer roundup yesterday on Thursday afternoon, where he'd done the great in-depth show about all the transfers we've got coming up, hopefully. Touch wood if we do get some of them through the line. Join me tonight, 9 p.m. for the West Ham Chelsea preview, and we will be back for a Matchday Live tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us. I want everyone to stay safe, take it easy, and see you at 9 o'clock. Come on, you.